So, a great jazz pianist named Bill Evans said this: I practice the minimum. I wanted to talk about this minimum approach to practicing and why it's better for maybe an older beginner like yourself coming back to the piano later in life or when you have time to pursue it. So, you probably may say to yourself, what are you talking about? Practicing less? I'm older. I don't have much time to learn. Therefore, I'm going to practice a ton and cram through the song and play and get good really fast. That right there, my friend, is the problem. I want to bring you to the first thing that you need to be aware of is your mental baggage. That is going to get you stuck. You know, your piano teacher getting on you and saying that you didn't practice enough, you didn't practice hard enough, and maybe you got discouraged and stopped. And now, when you have all this time, you want to get through the music. So it brings me to my second tip. We need to pick material that is not a huge song, all right? We need to pick material that is short in nature. So it's not this huge project you're putting on yourself, all right? So I want to introduce to you a song that I always play here on this channel. It's Scarborough Fair. The reason why I like picking songs like this is because it's short. There's only 21 measures in the song. If you do one measure every day, practice the minimum, all right, you would be done with the song in, say, 21 days, right? One measure a day. So I want you to think in these terms. The less, the better. I want to show you how I do this. If we look at Scarborough Fair, you could see that we have the song. This is just a general arrangement that I do with the Wonder Wave left-hand pattern. And if you want to know more about that, I offer a free left-hand patterns course when you sign up in the link below, and that'll give you a PDF of all my best left-hand patterns. This is the Wonder Wave. Now, before I go all into this, this brings me to my third point here. Practicing correctly. What does it mean? So, if you have a phone like this, download a free metronome app. I use Pro Metronome, and you could set the tempo. And what I want you to do is to go back and just allow yourself to practice the first measure. Okay, so this is where practicing less comes in hand. Yes, we've narrowed it down to one measure. Okay, but how do we do it? How do we practice something to the point where I will have perfected this one measure in my practice session? Well, we could start out however you want to go. We could play both hands separately. All right, so for this first measure, it's literally this. And I would do it with the metronome, right? 1, 2, 3. Now, what about the left hand? There's a lot more notes happening here. So what I recommend for things like this, slow practice is essential. If you want to learn how to put both hands together, let's say practicing them separately works for you. To go slow, it has to be easy and effortless, like riding a bike or putting a fork to your mouth. And in order to do that through the whole example, this one whole measure just with the left hand, you have to sacrifice how fast you play it. So it has to be slow enough for it to feel effortless. If you need to do it that slow, that is the right way. You are doing very good. And treat this like a meditation practice or an exercise. We are not using the metronome, our fingers are learning the choreography. See, this is the main point with slow practice. Your fingers are getting to learn the movement, all right? I'm crossing over with finger number 3, and then my thumb is hitting B, and then back to finger number 3. This movement has to be internalized, so that's why slow practice works really well. Your hand is learning the movement, hence the choreography, the movement of the dance it has to do every time it plays this pattern. Now you're saying, well, I've played the pattern, now what do I do? Are you ready to put both hands together? This is where things trip up fast. You are most likely going to rush through it. But if you constrain yourself to making one note at a time in both hands and not going further until those notes feel very comfortable, then you could add the next notes. And this is how I've been practicing. So if we set the metronome and I'm at 105 beats per minute, what I'm going to do is just play beat 1. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Right? I'm sure within 30 seconds that's going to feel very comfortable. Okay, now that I have this one note, I'm going to add the second note in the left hand. 1, 2, 3, 1 and. And I would do it again, 1 and. Till it feels really comfortable. Then when that feels comfortable, I'm going to add beat 2, 1 and 2. 3, 1 and 2. 1 and 2. Now, on the and of 2, now finger number 3 is crossing over with the thumb. This might be a new type of movement for you. Then you do it again. 1, 2, 3. 1 and 2 and. 1 and 2 and. Now, if that feels overwhelming, then you slow it down and play the same thing slow enough to where it feels effortless. 1 and 2 and. 1 and 2 and. Right? Then we keep doing this, right? 1 and 2 and 3 and. And soon enough, you'll be able to play the whole measure. And come back the next day. If it's not there, start from the beginning again and work yourself to completing the measure. So this brings me to an important point. Doing this type of practice may seem extremely slow and non-productive. That's wrong. You need to reprogram your brain. This is by far the best way. If you decide to say, I'm going to learn this song in 5 days, I'm going to rush through the material with mistakes and learn it that way for 5 days, you will have just instilled playing it wrong perfectly for 5 days. So you need to avoid that. So if you feel like you're going terribly slow, I want to learn 20 songs. I love all these songs, but Michael has me practicing one measure a day. I will not live long enough to complete that. That is a horrible worry. When you instill this type of practicing, this gets quicker. You're able to instill patterns with ease, and that is like drawing a line in the sand over and over again. It becomes deep. Your muscle memory recalls faster and faster when you practice in a focused way. When you don't, it's like studying for a test and you forget everything you've learned. Does that kind of jog a couple things about being in school? Well, the same applies for music. All right? So practicing correctly, taking your time, addressing the mental baggage, and picking a song that's simple and short to start this process. And that only took 10 minutes for me to explain. Just imagine what you could do in 10 minutes of focused practice. Get that one measure done. Let me know what you think in the comments. How has your practicing journey been? And what mental baggage and things are you telling yourself? Let me know in the comments, and I'll see you in the next video.